yesterday's games from La Liga and the Premier League Friday night that happened last night, and also we're going to talk about today's Premier League games and games from other European leagues. But let's start obviously with my opinion, the best league in the world, Premier League. West Ham beating Wolves 4-0. Very, very important win for West Ham and a crushing victory from their side against Wolves, especially in the fight for West Ham to stay, in the relegation zone, not be relegated, I should say. Wolves, they was in good form, and you think like, okay, could Wolves make a miracle here? But I think this game denies any suggestions that Wolves could make a comeback. But West Ham have been, they absolutely destroyed Wolves, particularly in the second half, where they were absolutely ruthless in front of goal. 2 goals from Castellanos, and Mavropanos scoring 2 goals as well. And yeah, West Ham, they were really ruthless in front of goal, and they were very clinical actually, which is something a bit rare to say about West Ham this season. But West Ham they absolutely destroyed Wolves, and it was a win, a great victory, and a clean sheet, which is something that West Ham need, and you need as well. You need to score goals and stay and keep clean sheets if you want to stay in the division. And West Ham did that in this game, and now they go 17th place, 11 points with Nottingham Forest, 1 point behind Leeds, and 2 points clear of Tottenham Hotspur, who are now in the relegation zone. I mean, Wolves. Tottenham have they have a big game on their hands coming up against Sunderland on Sunday tomorrow. They have a big game. I mean, it was already a big game before West Ham won, but now West Ham won makes it even more bigger. It makes it more. The pressure is going to increase more and more on those Tottenham players. And I'm Roberto De Zerbi, even though he will be his first game managing for Tottenham. So, yeah, but very good win for West Ham, and now Tottenham are, like I said, in the relegation zone, which is something that I never thought that I was going to say this after 31, 32 games. But here we are. Tottenham are 18th place, and they are 2 points behind Nottingham Forest, Leeds, and Tottenham. I mean, you look at who Nottingham Forest are going to play against this weekend, and other obviously teams not started trying to stay relegation zone. From the relegation, Tottenham got Sunderland away, which is a tricky game. Sunderland are a good side. Then Nottingham Forest play against Aston Villa at home. Aston Villa might rest play for the Europa League quarterfinals, second leg. However, they also have a chance to qualify for the Champions League next season. So, and Nottingham Forest are at home, so they might get something from this game. Leeds play United away, and it's always a big rivalry between Man United and Leeds. But I expect United to win that game. And next week, Leeds play. It's Leeds' turn to play against Wolves at home. West Ham have got they've got Crystal Palace away, which they might get a point. Maybe they might get a point. Nottingham Forest play Burnley at home. I expect Nottingham Forest to win that game. And Tottenham play Brighton at home, which is a tricky game. But massive win for West Ham. And huge weeks coming up in the battle to stay in the relegation battle, to not be relegated in the relegation battle for those 4 clubs: Tottenham, West Ham, Nottingham Forest, and Leeds. Let's move on to La Liga, as Real Madrid dropped points again against Girona, a 1-1 draw. Federico Valverde, who's been absolutely amazing for Real Madrid this season, gave Real Madrid the lead at the start of the second half, and you think, okay, Real Madrid were not good in the first half, and it was not a good performance for them in the first half. But they got that goal earlier in the second half, and you think, okay, they should go on and dominate the game after that, and they should win the game quite comfortably against Girona at home. However, that wasn't the case, because Girona climbed back in the 62nd minute with a goal from Thomas Lemar, former Atletico Madrid player, equalizing for Girona. At the end, there was a moment where I think Real Madrid should have had a penalty for the slap in the face on Mbappe. I have no idea how the referee and VR can look at it and say that's not a penalty. Like, how can they say that's not a penalty? That is a foregone conclusion, stonewall penalty. The guy slapped in his face, and there was he elbowed Mbappe, and Mbappe had the problem with his face, and all of that, and you say that it's not a penalty. I mean, I know La Liga referees are used to being terrible with this kind of things, but like, come on, like, really, you can't give a penalty for that. It's a very simple decision to make. And you don't give a penalty for that, really? But yeah, a very, very bad decision from the referee. But again, this doesn't excuse Real Madrid's once again dropping points and not winning again. I mean, yes, they had chances. Yes, they should have took one of the chances in particularly the second half. Considering Girona started to be on the fence and Real Madrid started to create more chances, but like. Vinicius, I don't think he was that great. I don't think it was a great performance with him. Mbappe, not that good in my opinion. And yeah, all in general, Real Madrid and defensively, Real Madrid were quite vulnerable once again. Real Madrid dropped points once again. That's 3 winless games for Real Madrid. They lost to Mallorca, they lost to Bayern Munich, and they drew to now Girona. And they're now 6 points behind Barcelona. And Barcelona win today at home against Espanyol, which they should. They're 9 points behind Barcelona. I'm like, I think if Barcelona win their game against Espanyol, I think the title race is over. It's over because I can't see Real Madrid overcoming a 9-point gap to Barcelona. I just can't see it. With the way they're playing right now, Real Madrid, how the state they're in. Domestically and how inconsistent they are. I mean, since Arbeloa came in, they were in a great run of form of winning streak in La Liga, and then after that, they've been dropping points to teams which you wouldn't expect. They lost to Osasuna, they lost to Getafe at home, they lost to Mallorca, they dropped points to Girona at home. I mean, I'm sorry, like, if you want to win La Liga, you cannot drop points to those teams. You cannot drop points to those teams. You cannot. Like, yeah, you might do well against the big teams, like for example, beating Atletico Madrid, which they did which was actually the last win for now. But like, doing well in the big games is not enough. They beat Barcelona also earlier on in the season, but doing well in big games is not enough. You have to also do well in other games if you want to win La Liga. And Real Madrid, since the start of March, they've been since the start of February, they've been dropping points to teams which you wouldn't expect. Which it's a big reason why they're not going to win the La Liga. Obviously, the departure of Xabi Alonso, etc. But like, not good enough. You cannot lose. You cannot drop points to those teams. And Arbeloa, I mean, he and his team they have a season to save. They're not going to win La Liga. They're out of the Copa del Rey. They lost the Spanish Super Cup final. They are behind. They're trailing against Bayern Munich, even though it's still Real Madrid. They could come back in the Champions League in the second leg. They have a season to save in the second leg on Wednesday. They have a season to save, because if they get knocked out by Bayern Munich, that means that will be back-to-back trophyless seasons for Real Madrid. Back-to-back seasons without a trophy. Real Madrid, we're talking about. We're talking about the biggest club in the world. We're talking about the team who's won the most La Liga titles in Spain, the most Champions Leagues out of anyone, the most trophies. And we're talking about Real Madrid here. We're not talking about some scrubs club or something. We're talking about a big club, more than a big club. And for them to go back-to-back seasons or back-to-back years without winning a single trophy, it would be embarrassing. For the money they spend, for the players that they have as well, let's not forget, it would be embarrassing. It would be embarrassing. For the club they are, that the standards they set, it would be embarrassing. And Arbeloa, I mean, yes, he's done well, in the first couple of games when he came in and he had to steady the ship. And obviously they were in a good run of form, when they won against Manchester City twice, when they beat Atletico Madrid, Celta Vigo, or whatever. They beat Benfica twice, yes. But like, you look at a lot of those last 3 games and you're like, you know, that run, that winning streak they had under below was fake. It was not real. It was like peppering over the cracks, as we like to say. It was not real. Like, and the cracks have really shown in the last 3 games for Real Madrid. Listen, who knows? Real Madrid might save their energy, might save their energy against Mallorca and Girona, and they're saving their best for the Champions League. Maybe, because that's what really Madrid's first priority is the Champions League. But if they get knocked out in Champions League on Wednesday, Mbappe, Arbeloa, Perez, they have all shared responsibility to play. Because this, the way you know, for the departure of Alonso, for everything else, they put themselves in that situation, and yeah, it will be a disaster of a season once again if they get knocked out on Wednesday. Let's move on to today's Premier League games. You've got 4 Premier League games. Arsenal against Bournemouth. Very important game for Arsenal. They bounced back against Sporting Lisbon after they lost to in the Carabao Cup final and to Southampton in the FA Cup. And they have a chance to win another game in the Premier League against Bournemouth at home. Bournemouth are a good side. They play good football, and obviously Areola has done a good job at Bournemouth. However, the last 5 games in the Premier League have ended in draws. They're 13th in the Premier League. They're 42 points. They are not far away from European places. They're only 4 points behind. However, the gap between 13th and 7th is also only 4 points, and there's so many teams fighting for that spot. But Arsenal, they have a big opportunity today to take another step towards winning the first Premier League title since 2004. It's a big game. It's a chance it's a big game, big chance to win. As also you know, they have a chance to. They are now 9 points clear of Man City, and they have a chance to go 12 points clear before City play against Chelsea tomorrow. Even though City will have 2 games in hand, so it's a very important game for Arsenal, and they have to win this game. Obviously, yeah, the performances and the results of the last 3 games have not been the best for Arsenal, but again, I still think they have a good chance of winning the Premier League. They should go and win the Premier League even though they lose to City. And Champions League is they should be in the semi-finals where they could face Atletico Madrid, and I think they have a proper chance of beating Atletico Madrid in the semi-finals, if I'm being very honest. And then if they beat Atletico Madrid, then the finals, and one of them, anything can happen. So yeah, yes, obviously it was quite disappointing from Arsenal side that they lost the Carabao Cup final and got knocked out of the FA Cup, but which was embarrassing where they got knocked out by Southampton, by the way. But they have another 2 good opportunities to solve and to win trophies. The Premier League, which is obviously the number 1, and for them, and obviously after the Champions League. Last prediction, I expect Arsenal to win. I'm going for a 2-0 win for Arsenal. I think Arsenal should win, and obviously Arteta, you know, sending messages to, you know, it's a big game for Arsenal. Even Arteta was sending messages to the Arsenal supporters saying that bring your lunch, bring your dinner, be ready, etc. So yeah, but I expect Arsenal to win this game to win 2-0 and take a forward step to winning that Premier League title. Brentford against Everton, I'm going for a 1-1 draw for that one. By the way, Everton aren't that far away from Champions League spot. I mean, now the Champions League spot is 5 places, by the way, because Arsenal's victory against Sporting. And Everton are only like 3 points behind Liverpool. I mean, who would have thought that Everton would be 3 points behind 5th in Champions League football, considering all those years, the last couple of years when they fighting relegation. But yeah, shows how well, incredible how well they've done this season, and David Moyes as well. For my score prediction, I'm going for a 1-1 draw. Burnley against Brighton, I'm going for a Brighton 2-0 win. Liverpool against Fulham, yeah, Liverpool have to bounce back. They have to respond very, very quickly. They have to get back to winning ways. I mean, yes, if they finish 5th, which they are in right now, they'll qualify for Champions League, but like their form recently has been very, very poor. got outplayed in Champions League. They got by PSG. They're destroyed by Man City. They have to get back to winning ways if they want to get Champions League football next season. And they play against Fulham as well, all away, far away from the European place. So, yeah, a big game for Liverpool. I'm going for a 2-0 win for Liverpool. That's it, guys. Thank you. I wish you have a nice day. See you next time. Goodbye.